I am not going to my best friend's wedding because she replaced me as her maid of honor. I've known my best friend, let's call her Kayla, since we were kids. Our moms were long-term friends, so when they were having daughters at the same time, they basically forced us to be friends, which worked out because we love each other. We went to the same schools growing up, then we went to college together, we joined the same sorority. We lived together all 4 years. I mean, this girl is like my other half. We've also never been in a real fight in our entire friendship. We've bickered before because we were tired about dumb stuff, but it's always been over the next day. I will say Kayla's fatal flaw is that she loves what's new and shiny. For example, when she started dating her now fiancé in college, it was like her friends didn't exist anymore. We just stopped seeing her. And it's because she was so excited about her new relationship that all of her old friends, we were old news. She actually lost a lot of friends because of this. But I loved her so much I stuck it out, and I just kept inviting her to hang out all the time and just appreciated the time she did say yes. She also has a habit of becoming best friends with somebody that she just meets, thinks they're like the best person in the world, is obsessed with them, plans trips with them, says that they're going to be best friends for life, and then a month later, they just don't even talk anymore. And when I'm like, oh, what happened to so and so? She's like, oh, yeah, I don't know. I haven't talked to her in a while. And then they never talk again. Like, it's not even like they have a falling out. She just becomes bored. When Kayla got engaged last year, excited was an understatement. We have been picturing our dream wedding since we were kids, and I was so excited to help her plan. But another thing about Kayla, her vision is a lot bigger than her budget. Kayla asked me to be her maid of honor, and as soon as I said yes, she started showing me the ideas she had for her wedding. And I had no idea what I got myself into by saying that I would help her with the decorations. I offered to help. I'm super crafty, and I knew that I could do a lot of those things for a lot less cost. And I even pitched in some of my own money for decorations that I was making because I love her, and I wanted her wedding to be exactly how she dreamed it to be. So yeah, I have put in countless sleepless nights and over $1,000 buying and making decorations for her wedding. From posters to balloon arch, literally everything. Here's where the problem starts. About 2 months ago, me and Kayla go to our friend's house party, and there we meet a new girl named Megan. Now, Megan was super cool, super nice, but for some reason, Kayla was obsessed with her. The whole way home, she was just talking about how amazing this girl was, how she's so smart, how she's so successful, how she, wants to be just like her. All of these things. Which I was like, oh, here we go. It's going to be a new month-long best friend. And I was right. Immediately, Kayla and Megan were hanging out all the time and never inviting me. I'm kind of like the person that's like, the more the merrier. I want my friends to all be friends with each other. So it was really weird to me when I would ask Kayla if she wanted to hang out on Thursday, and she was like, I'm already doing something with Megan. And I was like, oh, can I come? And she was like, no, it's kind of more of like a one-on-one thing. And slowly but surely, Kayla was taking longer and longer to respond to my texts. She wasn't answering my calls. She was always too busy, which, girl, you're not that busy. At first I chalked it up to the wedding, and that she was busy with that. But then I realized I was doing way more for her wedding than she was, and I still had time to hang out with her, and I really should all the time in the world to be hanging out with Megan. They were hanging out all the time because she was always posting it on her social media. Last week, I finally sat down with Kayla after literally not seeing her for almost a month, even though I was trying all the time. And this is because her wedding was literally a month away, and we need to go over some final logistics. But during this conversation, she's looking really nervous. And finally I'm like, girl, what is up with you? And she's like, I have to tell you something, but I don't want you to get upset, okay? And I was like, okay, what? And she goes, I've been thinking about it a lot. And I decided that I want Megan to be my maid of honor. And I was really taken aback. But at first I thought she meant joint maid of honors. And I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. Whatever you want. And she was like, great. So you're okay just being a bridesmaid? I was like, wait, you're not talking about joint? You want me out, kicked out, just bumped to the back of the line kick. And she was like, I love you so much, but, at this time, my life, I just feel like Megan is my best friend in the world. And I was like, your best friend in the world? She was like, yeah, I've hardly even seen you the last few months. I'm like, oh, really? Really? You know what? 'Cause I asked you to hang out, but you're always busy with Megan. And I guess maybe I've just been busy doing all of the decorations for your wedding. And she was like, yeah. And, I so appreciate that, and I love you. And that's why I'm so excited that you're going to be my wedding party. I was speechless. I was sitting there just dumbfounded. And, this girl has done this to me my whole life. She's always finding a new friend, replacing me for a few months, and then when she gets bored of that friend, comes back to old reliable. But I need to know my worth. I always say it with men, but I guess I've never said it with friends, and especially when it comes to Kayla. And I know this is petty, but I look her right in the eye and I say, honestly, I don't really want to go to a wedding that's going to have no decorations. And her face falls because she knows that at my apartment, that's where all of her decorations for her wedding are. I made 80% of the decorations for her wedding. So without the stuff that I spent money on and put hours and hours into, she's just, not really gonna have any decorations at all. She was like, oh my gosh, Kelsey, you would never do that to me. And I was like, well, I never thought that you would do this to me, but guess we're both mistaken today. Her entire family has been calling me nonstop about the decorations, not about what she did to me. No, they just really want these decorations. And I said, you can have them. You just have to pay for the costs that I spent on them plus the time that I put into them. I told them that now Megan's our maid of honor, so if she wants help with the decorations, that is not my responsibility anymore. Now the wedding is quickly approaching, and I am not budging. I'm not answering any of Kayla's calls or texts. Mostly because they're all about the decorations. She does not even care how much she hurt me. I love Kayla, but I'm not going to be her doormat anymore. I don't know. Maybe the holding the decorations hostage is a little much. Maybe I should just give them to her and let that be that. But I don't know. I spent so much time and money on those, and she just threw me to the side like I was nothing. So it just doesn't feel right. I stood firm in my decision. I wasn't going to hand over the decorations. Every penny, every sleepless hour, every detail I carefully crafted for Kayla's wedding, it all meant more than just party decorations. It was my time, my effort, my friendship, and I wasn't going to let her simply discard me like I was nothing and get away with it. In the first few days, the calls were relentless. Her mother called me crying, saying she couldn't believe I was doing this to Kayla. You're like a daughter to us, she said, and that hurt. It hurt because I really had always been treated like part of the family. I spent so many years at their house, helped through so many tough moments, stood by Kayla through every crisis, every fight with her parents, every moment of insecurity. And now, all of that seemed to have been erased because suddenly, I was the villain of the story. Her uncles, cousins, even her father, they all sent me messages or left voicemails, their tone heavy with disappointment. I listened to the messages and felt that familiar tight knot in my chest growing tighter and tighter. We've always welcomed you with open arms, they said. You've always been family, and now you do this to Kayla at the most important moment of her life? But no one, absolutely no one, asked how I felt. No one wanted to know how much it hurt to be replaced by a girl she had only known for a few months. No one cared about how devastated I was to realize that, to Kayla, I didn't mean as much as she meant to me. All they cared about were the decorations. To me, it was about principle. I couldn't just let this slide as if nothing had happened. And if I gave everything up, I would only be proving that I was the nice friend she could throw away and pick up again whenever she wanted. Not this time. Days passed, and the buzz around it only grew louder. Some mutual friends reached out, trying to convince me to be the bigger person in the situation. Let it go, they said. It's not worth ruining your friendship over this. But what they didn't understand was that the friendship was already ruined. I wasn't the one who threw it away. I was just dealing with the consequences. When the wedding day arrived, I felt strange. Part of me felt guilty, I won't lie. But another part of me was tired of always being the one who gave in. I looked at the boxes of decorations stacked in the corner of my apartment and thought about what could have been. But no, not this time. And then, the photos started appearing on social media. And it was a disaster. Kayla's wedding, which she had always dreamed of being glamorous and perfect, looked like a last-minute thrown-together event. There were no elaborate decorations, no balloon arches, no personalized signs that I had spent weeks making. It was just an empty hall with basic tables and chairs, nothing that reflected her dreams. The ceremony itself? Horrible. Her mother, who had always been obsessed with details, looked on the verge of a meltdown in the pictures. The flowers were all wrong, the centerpieces were ridiculous, and Megan, the perfect new best friend, clearly had no idea what she was doing. And me? I just watched it all with a mix of sadness and slight satisfaction. Not because I wanted her to fail, but because maybe now she would understand just how much I had done for her. But the worst part wasn't the wedding fiasco itself. It was her family's reaction afterward. Kayla's mom sent me a long message filled with disappointment and sadness. She said I had broken everyone's hearts, that they all saw me as family, that they never expected this from me. She said I could have been the bigger person and done the right thing. That message hit me like a knife. Could I have been the bigger person? And what about Kayla? Didn't she have any responsibility in this? Her friends started excluding me from everything. People I had known for years, people I had shared so many moments with, suddenly started treating me like a traitor. Like I had done something horrible, something unforgivable. To them, I was the selfish villain who ruined my best friend's wedding. No one saw what Kayla had done to me. No one saw how I had been discarded, used, and then replaced by someone new and shiny. Still, I stood my ground. My pride spoke louder, and I knew that if I gave in now, I would be putting myself in this position forever. But even knowing I did the right thing for myself, I can't deny that it hurts. It hurts to know that, to them, I was just convenient. It hurts to know that years of friendship can be so easily discarded over a fleeting new obsession. And most of all, it hurts to know that I was the only one suffering the consequences. Now, Kayla is back from her honeymoon and has already tried messaging me, but I haven't replied, because I know exactly how this will go. It'll start with a shy apology, then an invitation to hang out, and soon she'll want everything to go back to the way it was. But I'm not the same anymore. I'm no longer the friend who lets herself be walked over and picked up again when it's convenient. Maybe one day I'll be able to forgive. Maybe one day I'll look back and laugh at all of this. But for now, I just want to move on without looking back. Because, for the first time in a long time, I'm putting myself first. Days turned into weeks, and Kayla's messages started to dwindle. At first, it was a flood of missed calls, unread messages, and even attempts to show up at my apartment unannounced. I didn't open the door. I knew that if I saw her face, I'd probably end up giving in. But every notification on my phone was a reminder that, to her, what really mattered wasn't our friendship. It was the perfect wedding that didn't happen. Still, part of me felt conflicted. I wondered if I had overreacted, if I should have just let it go. But then I remembered the feeling of being replaced, the casual way she discarded me for someone she barely knew, as if all our history together meant nothing. I knew I was right to stand my ground, but it wasn't easy. Then one day, after weeks of almost complete silence, Kayla sent me a short message. "Can we talk?" I stared at the message for a while, feeling a mix of curiosity and irritation. She wasn't apologizing. She wasn't showing any real remorse. She just wanted to talk. After ignoring her for so long, I decided that maybe it was time to hear what she had to say. Maybe she had finally realized how much she had hurt me. Maybe there was a chance to fix something. We met at a quiet cafe, far from where we might run into familiar faces. When I arrived, she was already there, looking thinner and visibly tired. Her smile seemed forced, and there was something different about her, a kind of caution I wasn't used to seeing. I sat down without saying anything, waiting for her to speak first. "I've missed you," she said in a low, almost hesitant voice. "I know you're hurt, and so am I. It was awful having my wedding ruined, but the worst part was losing you in the process." I crossed my arms, keeping a neutral expression. I wanted to see where this was going. She sighed and continued. "I understand your side now. You felt left out, like you didn't matter. But I want you to know that we've always been like sisters, and I still feel that way." For a brief moment, Something inside me softened. But then came her next words. And that's why I'm willing to forgive you if you're ready to apologize too. My head spun. I stared at her, incredulous. What? I asked, trying to hold back the bitter laugh, threatening to escape. You want me to apologize? She nodded, as if she saw nothing wrong with what she was saying. Yes, the wedding was really important to me, and you know that. I think, deep down, you acted on impulse and let your emotions take over. I know you felt bad, but I think we both made mistakes. I shook my head slowly, feeling a mix of frustration and disappointment. Kayla, I have nothing to apologize for. I did everything for you. I spent my time, my money, my sleepless nights, and in the end, I was replaced like I was nothing. The only person who owes an apology here is you. Her eyes widened, surprised by my response. For a moment, I thought she might finally get it, but instead, her face hardened and her voice turned colder. I knew you'd react like this. You've always been so proud. I laughed, incredulous. Proud? No, Kayla. I've just learned to value myself. She stayed silent for a few seconds, nervously fidgeting with the edge of her coffee cup. So, is this it? She asked, her voice almost emotionless. I guess it is, I replied, standing up. You made your choice when you replaced me. I'm making mine now. She didn't say anything else, just looked at me like I was a stranger. And in that moment, I realized that maybe we had always been strangers to each other. I walked out of the cafe without looking back, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders, but also a strange emptiness in my chest. In the following days, her social media was full of photos with Megan. Traveling, going out, laughing, as if nothing had happened. It was like I had never existed in her life. Slowly, I realized that Kayla had completely erased me. Those photos were a constant reminder that I had been replaced, and there was no longer a place for me. Her family, who once treated me like a daughter, never reached out again. No messages from her mother, no invitations to Sunday lunches, nothing. To them, I was the villain in the story, the one who ruined sweet Kayla's wedding. I knew that even if I tried to explain, they would never understand my side. I had already been judged and condemned. As hard as it was to accept, I knew it was for the best. I didn't want to be part of a life where I was only seen as a convenient tool. I learned that some friendships, no matter how solid they seem, are built on convenience, and when that convenience ends, everything falls apart. Now, I'm focusing on myself, on my own dreams. I've made new friends, reconnected with old ones I had neglected, because I was always prioritizing Kayla. I discovered that there's so much more to life than being stuck in a one-sided friendship. And most importantly, I learned that I don't have to beg for a place in anyone's life. Kayla may have moved on with Megan, her new best friend, but I've moved on too. And honestly, I'm at peace with it.